Let's start off with Apple TV losing the Plus, and then Netflix losing the Netflix original, which I think is interesting because it's like, on the one hand, they're kind of like simplifying the branding, which makes a lot of sense. But at least for Netflix original, I thought, like the whole point of they're creating their own content studio and shows and everything. But I wonder if that has something to do with like the quality kind of going down, right? Like when it originally started, they had like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, and like all those like top tier shows that were like in contention for like awards. And then now it's kind of just become reality TV.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of things. I think we've definitely seen some quality go down, but I think we've seen some quality go up. And I think the way they were using Netflix original was to really kind of basically make sure that it's very clear and signal that they can do prestige television
Hmm.
too, but they've been accepted. And they like I think Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro is a perfect example of this.
Mm,
They are working with really top tier directors. I mean, I'm deeply biased. Guillermo is my favorite
yeah.
director. But they also are gonna have, like it's gonna be in theaters as
Hmm.
well as be on the streaming service, so they've kinda proven that they can do prestige, and they've gotten awards, like, I remember when Netflix started, like, basically submitting for the Oscars, and it was very obvious they were being snubbed, but that energy isn't there anymore, so I feel like the original reason for Netflix Original is no longer necessary because they are a part of the conversation, and it just is what it is now, and so they don't really need that signal, and that's what I feel like it was. I feel like it was a signal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing too is especially kind of you have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, but you also have their, huge hit K-pop Demon
Mhm.
Hunters, which they
Yep.
can't really claim as a Netflix original, right? Because it was
Yeah.
made and produced by Sony. They
Mhm.
bought the rights.
Yeah.
And so because they wouldn't be able to label that as like a Netflix
Yeah.
original, it kind of
Yeah.
lowers their,
Yeah.
lowers not the bar, but just the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So I think by getting rid of that, they can just own it. It's just like a
Mhm.
Netflix show
Yeah.
or movie.
Yeah.
So I think it makes it easier to do that, which makes a lot of sense. Because on top of what you're saying, where it's like they've already been accepted. I mean, they won awards last year,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So they've definitely been progressing and, been fully accepted into like the whole Hollywood
Yeah.
regime or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the big players. I mean, and to suggest otherwise is just not fair to what they've done. And so, I think you could throw a lot of love and hate towards Netflix for some of the choices that they've made. But I think overall, they've really shown what they can do on the scale. And I mean, it's not a mistake, and it's not by coincidence that you have so many of these studios trying to replicate what
Hmm.
Netflix did. And for the incumbent, I mean, Netflix has really held their lead. Like
Hmm.
they've had Disney create a streaming service. They've had all of these other ones come out and Netflix is still going strong. So I think it does speak to the fact that they're holding tight and they're adapting when needed.
Yeah. I think that also goes to say a lot about Apple TV as well, right? Because it's like, I think it's also trying to follow that journey of like, tech company that's like investing in like Hollywood and movies. We saw like the
Yeah.
success that they had with F1, the movie over the summer.
Hmm.
I still consider it to be like one of the top,
It
like
absolutely
TV
is.
show like platforms now,
Hmm.
even more so than like Netflix. If it shows
Yeah.
up on Apple Plus, I'm more likely to give it a chance.
Yeah.
At
Hmm.
least, a few episodes. Um, they still need to work on their marketing. That's still a thing,
I I
but
need
they're
them to
getting
bring the
better.
energy. Well, like what they did with Severance, especially for the lead up to the latest season, was absolutely perfect. Because I'd watched like a
Hmm.
little bit of it in the season one, but I had not like actually invested the time to sit down and watch a full episode. And
Hmm.
so when they did the Union Station experience,
Yeah.
I was locked in. I was like, I have to buy like just by respect
Yeah.
of the marketing here, I have to at least
Hmm.
watch an episode and see what this is all about.
Yeah.
Immediately fell in love, binged everything, loved it. And they have slow horses, which I'm obviously a massive fan
Yeah.
of. I love slow horses.
Hmm.
But I think the plus in the original, I think there's signals.
Hmm.
And I think that there's no reason for that signal anymore. So like Apple's Apple. And
Yeah.
they never like TV was never the lead. Entertainment
Hmm.
was never the lead. It was always their products. It was their technology. And then now you have TV Plus, which is an extension. So now it's like an added feature of being in the Apple cult or Apple family.
Hmm.
But now, like you said, they have really fantastic like, Apple TV Now is what HBO was, like, 20 years ago, and so they don't need that signal of it being an addition.
Hmm.
It stands alone, like, it doesn't need the plus, and so I think both cases, it's an issue of, like, we drop it because that signal is no longer necessary.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing.